Hey guys, it's Kaz here with a jumper on, just so I look slightly different to my last video, even though it's way too hot for this. And even though I wear this jumper in like 90% of my videos anyway, so it doesn't make any difference, I still look the same. Yeah, I'm coming at you with my first quarter haul. So a lot of these things you probably would have already seen if you watched videos. Some of them you would have seen in my Oslo video, and some in my wrap up, and some in like wrap up to come. So yeah, some of them you might have seen. But I wanted to just put them all in one contained place because it's fun, isn't it? So yeah, the first book I got, this was pretty much on a whim. I was in TK Maxx, and you know how they have loads of books in there. Quite a lot of like fun editions of stuff. I was just going in there to have a little look about, and I did end up picking up this. This is The Call of Cthulhu and Other Tales of Cosmic Terror by H.P. Lovecraft. Basically, look at this. And then look, it's even got wigglers on the side. If you can ever see it, let's have a look. There we go, there he is, little wiggly guy. Yeah, this was a little bit of a, you know, spur of the moment thing, because basically I have a D&D character called Tentacles, and my patron is Cthulhu, and I saw it and I was like, that's so cool. I did read Dagon by H.P. Lovecraft, I want to say last year, and like technically all of H.P. Lovecraft's books are in the public realm, so I could have just read them all for free, but it's just so cool, isn't it? I don't very often buy books just because of the aesthetic, but it's cool, isn't it? Look at it, look at all the tentacles. My character's name's Tentacles. Come on guys. But yeah, so this one's got Dagon in it. It has The Call of Cthulhu, and also The Dunwich Horror, The Whisperer in Darkness, At the Mountains of Madness, The Shadow over Innsmouth, and The Haunter of the Dark. So yeah, hopefully I enjoy them. I gave Dagon 3 stars. It is like 5 pages or 6 pages. I'm not massively keen on really short stories, but yeah, hopefully it'll be cool. And I like, my patron is Cthulhu, but I've never actually read The Call of Cthulhu, so it'd be good to like actually know the proper backstory of stuff, instead of just calling of him to be able to do my Eldritch Blast, you know? So yeah, that is the first book that I bought. These next 3 are the ones you would have seen if you watched my Norway video. I recommend watching it if you want to. Obviously, you'll see the haul at the end, and it's the same as these 3. But when I was there, I did a bunch of urban sketching. So I did a video, it's got little clips in, like video clips in it, and also I go through my sketchbook that I took with me, and also there's cool snow and stuff, so watch it if you want. But yeah, I got these 3 books from the Fram Museum. Each of them were only stupidly cheap. So yeah, the first one I got you would have seen in my last video because I read it. This is Tragedies and Triumph in the North, Russian Exploration of the Arctic, I mean, 1910 to 1915. So this one is about 4 different Russian expeditions. 3 of them were tragedies and 1 of them was a triumph. So yes, it's just a book about those 3. I also have Into the Mists, S.A. Andre's balloon expedition towards the North Pole. This is about an expedition that went in a balloon, as you can tell, and it was just a few guys on the expedition, and then like for 33 years nobody heard from them, and then their bodies were found, and then there's this whole mystery about why they died, because they had enough food, ammunition, clothing, everything else on them to have not died. So it's a little bit of a mystery and stuff, so it'll be interesting to see which way they go and what they explain in this book. I have read another book about this specific expedition called The Expedition by Bia Uzma, which was really good. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see another book about that expedition, and I'm going to guess that this is going to go into more of it, because that book, The Expedition, is like Bia Uzma now trying to figure out what happened, but this book's probably going to be more about set in the past and what actually did happen and how everything was built and stuff. So yeah, it will be interesting. For me, probably not for you guys, like how the balloon was built and stuff, if you can even, and stuff like that. These books are very dry in the sense that it's information and it tells you about stuff. So if you're not interested in these, you probably wouldn't be interested in reading them. And then the last one I got is Carson Borch-Grenvinnick. which is definitely not how you say his name, and the Southern Cross Expedition 1898 to 1900. And I don't think I've heard about this guy. I might have heard about him in passing in other things, but yeah, which is why I got this one, because it's something that I've not really heard of. So, boom. Cold information, you know how I like it. Next up, this is one that you would have seen if you watched my last wrap up, and that is Alex and Ada Volume 2 by Jonathan Luna and Sarah Vaughan. This one, I keep my eye out for comics when they're on cheap, secondhand. I do a little dive every so often, so I'll look on Sci-Fi or in their used section, I'll look on Amazon, I'll look on eBay, I'll look on World of Books, and then see which one's the cheapest on which one of them websites, and if that cheapest one is cheap enough for me to buy it, that's how I roll. And it was, so I got it and I read it, and you can see in my wrap up what I thought about it. But basically this is volume 2 of Alex and Ada, which is about a guy and a robot that he was bought and then making her sentient. And this is the artwork. I think we're probably about halfway through, so here's some cats and then I'll be back. Next up, these next two is something you would have also seen in that same video, which was my February wrap up, which was the last video I posted, and that is volume 1 and volume 2 of Monstrous by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. Again, this is a series that I've been interested in for a while, and I found the first 2 volumes at a nice cheap price, so I picked them up and I read them, so obviously watch that video. But this is a really interesting series. Here's the artwork in here. If it's gonna load and face my show, there we go. That's the sort of artwork that's in here. And it's basically about this girl who is an arcanic, and she's trying to find some stuff. People are trying to find her in a let's kill the arcanic sort of way. There's loads of stuff kicking off. Politics, humanity. We don't like those people, so let's destroy them. You know, all of that jazz. And it's really good, and there are cats that talk and are like naughty little buggers, so that's always a bonus. And then the next thing I have is Vern, Custodian of the Universe by Tyrell Waiters. This one I got given, my mum's partner was going through his kids stuff, and I'm not a kid but I like comics, so he said, do you want this to read? And I said yeah, because I like reading comics and graphic novels. Here is the artwork. Boom. And I don't really know much about this. Obviously he's a custodian of the universe and he's doing stuff. But yeah, I'm not even going to read the back because I will just read it. It's a comic. I will always say yes to a free comic. Then after that I have quite a fancy book. I don't buy fancy books very often, but sometimes I do. So this is Aurora, All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend. So Aurora is a music artist. This is a book to represent the 10-year anniversary of the album, which was her debut album, All My Demons Greet Me as a Friend. And in here there's like a bunch of different stuff. There's photos, there's words. Here are some word sort of things. There are also pictures of old notebooks with lyrics and stuff and writings and musings in here. There are photos, that's Aurora, little baby Aurora. It goes through like the lyrics, the making of the album, go into different places, what she thought of stuff. And yeah, I read this, so you will hear about it in my next video, my wrap up. Drawings, there's just a bunch of all sorts of stuff. And obviously I got this because I love Aurora, and yeah. And then we have 2 more things. I picked both of these books up at a charity shop. The first one, boom, Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow by Benjamin Dean. I've heard about this book loads and people always rave about it being good, so I picked it up. It's only a couple of pounds. Again, I've read this one, so you'll hear about it in my next wrap up. You see, I'm doing good. I'm buying stuff and actually reading it. Imagine. But yeah, this is middle grade and it's basically about this guy, I say guy, child, Archie, and his dad has come out as gay. And he's trying to like figure out what that means for him, for his family, for their future, for like him and his father's relationship. And yes, it's good. And then the other one I picked up was The Other Side of Truth by Beverly Nadeau. And this one is about some people who, where are they from? They're from a place which I can't see, but then they flee to England, where hopefully they're safe. But yeah, I always enjoy a story about real life sort of situations, especially in middle grade form. I feel like normally they're written really well, so hopefully this is no different. I did actually look into the author of this one. So this is about somebody who has a father who's a journalist, and then they have to flee their country. And then Beverly Naidoo had to flee South Africa because as a university student she was protesting apartheid, so it's interesting to see that she's going on to this, trying to spread the word still in a different way. So yeah, those are all the things that I picked up in the first few months of the year, first quarter, and I'm pleasantly happy to report that I've read more than half of them already, so that's always a bonus. It's always one of my goals to read at least 50% of my Horde books, and I am on track with that, so yes, winner. But yeah, let me know if you've read any of these or what you've picked up. What's your favourite book that you've picked up so far this year? Have you read any of these? What are your thoughts? Just say anything. That's literally the whole point of the comment section down there. If you want, you can say some stuff, but if you don't want, then that's fine. I'm not going to force you. Like if you want, comment if you want, subscribe if you want. And I'll be back with my next video, which will be my March wrap up, and then I will be up to date with that sort of stuff, and then we can carry on, you know what I mean? So yeah, be here for that if you want. Bye.